Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Do y'all see my ring light reflection there in the window? I'm just rolling with it. Today's topic is going to be a portfolio reveal. I'm going to continue the investing series that I have been slowly doing here on my channel. And today I'm going to share with you everything that I am currently investing in and why I choose to do these things. Now, I have to, of course, say that I am no professional. In fact, I still really consider myself an investing novice, but truthfully, I kind of prefer to keep things simple anyway. That's just how I like to invest. Now, as time goes on, things can and will change as I believe that they should for everybody. We all have different goals for our money. We're in different places in life. We earn different amounts of income and our risk tolerance is different. And as we get older, generally speaking, it's a good idea to invest in less risky things overall. So if you've been following my channel for a while, then you know that I go over the amounts that I have in my various investing and savings accounts on my budget reviews every month, but I don't show on those videos what I'm investing in. So that is what this video is for. And then from here on out, we'll do portfolio check-ins every once in a while. Not sure how often, we'll just see how it goes. That being said, my largest account that I have for investing is my work retirement account. I have a 403B through my employer, and I would show that to you guys, but it has all of my employer information spattered everywhere, so can't put that up on YouTube, obviously. But that account, I can go ahead and tell you, is invested in the Vanguard S&P 500 index fund, 100%. So there you go. That's a boring choice for a retirement account, but again, I like simple and boring. Also, the expense ratio on those Vanguard index funds is very low. It's 0.03%, which is next to nothing. So that was the choice for me as far as retirement account goes. And I did take a look at that account this morning before I started filming this video, and it currently sits at about $72,000. That is my largest investing account. Next, we will jump into my M1 Finance account. Okay guys, here we are. This is my regular taxable account in M1 Finance, and I have to tell you guys before I show my individual investments that I recently had M1 Finance freeze my taxable account here so that I could rearrange the slices in my pies the way that I wanted to. When that happens, it kind of messes up your stats. So if I click over here, you can see that it looks like I've only been investing since August 24th, 2020. I have been investing a lot longer than that with my taxable account on M1. So these numbers over here will reflect my return since August of 2020. That's all right. I am a long-term investor, so I'll be hanging on to my M1 Finance account here for years to come. This account is where I do all of my dividend investing, which is a tiny portion of my overall portfolio. You can see that this regular taxable account, less than $1,000 of it is actually in dividend stocks. But I consider myself mainly an index and ETF investor because dividends require a little bit more time and effort than just investing in an ETF. And again, people have different goals when it comes to dividend investing. For me personally, I am more focused on the steady payout of dividends, not so much growth of the companies that I am investing in. So that being said, when I went to pick my dividend stocks, the main thing that I was looking for were dividend aristocrats and kings. I wanted to make sure the companies that I chose had been paying and growing their dividend for a good long time. So that was my highest priority, but I did also look at some other things like how quickly they're growing the dividend as well, the 5-year capped annual growth rate, along with the yield and along with the payout ratio. I wanted to preferably have dividend stocks that were not going into debt in order to pay the dividends. But that being said, The energy sector has been a little bit rough this year. Anyhow, we will jump into my dividend pie here and I'll show y'all the different slices that I have. I have all of my dividend stocks organized here. We'll take a look quickly at the consumer first. This is by far my largest sector of dividend stocks, and here you have it. Some recognizable names in here for sure. Next here we have utilities, just a few companies in here. I know that Duke Energy is not a dividend aristocrat or king, but they have been growing their dividend for a good long time. Also, I have to pay them every month, so I figured it's only fair that they should have to pay me back every once in a while, right? This is my financial sector. Things are looking pretty good in this sector. Here is my industrial sector. I put 3M in here. They could also be considered healthcare. Lord knows I use their products on a nightly basis during this time of pandemic and me working in healthcare. This sector's looking pretty good too. I've only got one in the red here. Here is my healthcare slice, and I've got Johnson & Johnson in here, Walgreens, again, AbbVie. These are all recognizable names and looking okay in this sector. It's a little bit down right now, but I'm not worried about this slice at all. People are always going to need healthcare. Lastly is my energy sector here, and y'all, I have gone back and forth about just getting out of oil altogether. I know the energy sector has really struggled this year, so I kind of go back and forth on that, but it is what it is. I'm up in one company, down in the other. So that covers all of my dividend stocks. One thing that I do like about M1 Finance that's pretty easy is that if you go up here and click on research, you can take a look at your own pies that you've created and see what your dividend yield is. I just have to go down here where it says dividends. And this is how my dividend pie that I have created would have performed over the last 5 years. You can see it's still had pretty good growth, and I've got a nice yield here at 4.4%. And because I have individually chosen these stocks myself, I'm not paying any expense ratio. Now we'll take a look at my speculative investments. All right, here we are, and as you can see, I've got quite a few speculative investments going on here. Now, personally, I think it keeps it interesting. Also, I have a higher risk tolerance being younger-ish still. And if you consider the overall portfolio balance that I have, $720 is not very much money at all when you've got a portfolio that's over $80,000. So these are just some investments that I think will be fun to see how they do. And remember, because I rearranged my pie back in August, all of these numbers are going to be like I just started investing in August of 2020. But y'all, I started investing in Tesla last summer, so I'm really up a lot more than what it shows here for Tesla. Hyliion, I started investing in them when they were still Tortoise Acquisition. This ETF is a MJ sector ETF. It has a higher expense ratio. This is definitely a speculative play. I started investing in this one last summer and it did nothing but go down until recently here. It started to go up just a little bit, and we'll see how this goes. This is a long-term play here. I think eventually that it'll be legal here in the United States. So this is just something that I'm hanging on to see what happens in the future. All of the rest of these here are ARK investing ETFs. If you're not familiar with ARK Investments, this is a company that is led by Kathy Woods. They are an active investing group, and I really like... My pie is done. Hang on, be right back. All right, here I am on M1 Finance talking about my M1 Finance pies, and I actually am baking a pie as well. Anyway, ARK ETFs are something that I had my eye on for a little while. I am a really big fan of Kathy Wood. I just like her style. I like how the company does their research for all of their ETFs. I am not a professional when it comes to any of these, really. I couldn't explain to you how genomic revolution is going to work or next generation internet ETF, but historically, these ETFs have performed quite well, and I know that does not guarantee future returns. That is why I have these under speculative, but I thought that as long as the returns are good, then the higher expense ratio they have, I can overlook for now. Again, things will change as I get older and risk tolerance changes and my portfolio gets larger. Things will change. Okay, that'll do it for my taxable account on M1 Finance. Now we will check out my Roth IRA. This one, you may not be surprised to see, is comprised of 100% Vanguard ETFs. So my choices here for my Roth IRA, I have the total stock market index, I have small cap value and small cap growth thrown in here as well. If you take a look at the way Vanguard has their VTI ETF, they are heavily weighted towards the large cap stocks, and I wanted to have a little bit more exposure to small caps in here. As far as growth is concerned, it is easier for a small cap company to double their revenue than it is, say, for giant cap companies like Apple. So over the long term, I wanted to have a little bit more small cap exposure in my Roth IRA. I will also link down in the description box below if I can find it. I listened to a really good podcast by Choose FI. They had a guest on, I want to say it was Paul Merriman, if I remember correctly. I may not be right on that, but anyway, if I can find that particular podcast, it was really the main reason I decided to add in some small caps to my Roth IRA. So it's worth a listen if you're into this nerdy stuff like I am. And then for some real estate exposure, I do also have a REIT in here. This is Vanguard's REIT ETF, V&Q. It pays a nice dividend, and because it's in my Roth IRA, it is tax-free. My Roth IRA, I opened last year, June 28th, 2019. I wish I had been investing in a Roth a long time before that, but we can only work with the knowledge that we have today. And just for curiosity's sake, let's take a look at how my Roth IRA would have performed over the last 5 years. Eventually. Pretty decent returns here. I am not mad at that at all. I'm getting a little bit of dividends in this account, and the expense ratio is nice and low. That does it for my M1 Finance account. I only have one other investing account, and that is with Fidelity, so we'll jump into that next. All right, my Fidelity account won't take long because I only have one holding in this account. This is another speculative play, y'all, and the reason I opened this Fidelity account was because I could not get it on M1 Finance. My speculative play is MindMed. This is a company that is doing research into psychedelics to treat mental illness, and y'all, I firsthand see the struggles of mental illness every single night I go to work. This is research that is desperately needed, and if this company can do well, make breakthroughs, I personally think that while it is a super high risk investment, the reward could potentially be there. And again, keep in mind that overall my total investing portfolio size is about $80,000, so $300, nothing. This is a high risk investment, but I do not have a lot that came out of my pocket for this investment. In fact, I have only put $160 into this account. So as you can tell, I've had some pretty good gains on this speculative stock. My total returns here are nearly 100%, so far so good. Hopefully they will continue to do well. All right, y'all, I hope that you enjoyed this portfolio reveal and my thought processes behind the way that I invest. None of this is financial advice. I must say, you do your own due diligence for all of your own investing. But I would be interested to know what you think of my style down in the comment section below. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. That's all right too. And also let me know how often you would like to see these portfolio reviews. I know some channels do them weekly, monthly, quarterly. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I feel like that I can start doing that now since I have finally got this video filmed and done to discuss why I have chosen the investments that I've chosen. So tried to keep it as short as I could. Hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a like down below. I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye guys.